and true. What a desolate place would be a world without flowers. It would be a face without a smile, a feast without a welcome. Are not flowers the stars of the earth? And flowers are love's truest language. To cultivate a garden is man's most universal, most ancient, and most rewarding pastime. Hummingbirds are nature's jewels with which he adorns a garden. The instinctive and universal desire of mankind is to select flowers for the expression of its finest sentiments and traditions. In flowers, we have an expression of beauty and of fleetingness, which serves to make them the most fitting symbols of those delicate sentiments for which language seems almost too gross a medium. The community of Pasadena, California greets the world each New Year's Day with its famed floral spectacle, the Tournament of Roses. Fresh, natural flowers are displayed exclusively in designs depicting this year's theme, Tall Tales and True. This event requires constant and painstaking preparation for the entire preceding year. More than 80 million people will witness this Tournament of Roses parade today, here and on television. They will see the evidence of care, even to the smallest detail, so necessary to bring to a successful climax such an event. An incredibly complex array of radio, television, and motion picture equipment and personnel stand ready to bring to the nation and to the world their coverage of the parade. For the first and only time during the year, we now catch a glimpse of the men whose unselfish service to the community makes possible the Tournament of Roses. These men have worked without pay, donating their services to make possible a happy New Year's Day for all who watch the Tournament of Roses parade. In this way, the nameless man in white sends his New Year's greeting your way. Now, watching for the start, straining to catch the golden sound that heralds the magic moment. The stirring fanfare by trumpeter Calvin McLean heralds the start of the 71st annual Tournament of Roses. With a color guard mounted on 30 matched palominos, the famed Long Beach Mounted Police. The official Tournament of Roses band from Pasadena City College sets a bright pace for the parade, leading the way with great pride for the Grand Marshal, the Honorable Richard M. Nixon, Vice President of the United States, and his lovely wife. The President of the 71st Tournament of Roses, Mr. Raymond A. Dorn, Mrs. Dorn, and their two children, followed by Pasadena's Mayor, Raymond Woods, Mrs. Wood, and their son. Approaches the chariot of Her Majesty the Queen, the reigning sovereign over a kingdom of beauty, the Rose Queen, Margaret Bertelsen, and her court of 6 lovely princesses. A truly great band from the University of Wisconsin. Big Ten Conference, two identifying symbols of their states, a badger and a pretty girl, remind us that they are both 10 and true. On a map of white chrysanthemums, Alice surveys the wonders of Dairyland, including Miss Wisconsin, Mary Alice Fox. Motion picture and TV personality Leo Carrillo, always a favorite, is followed by traditional Mexico, a triumph of design and symbolism, depicted by the Republic of Mexico, our good neighbor. The Foresters' Robin Hood Band. But Mom, he followed me home, is a schoolboy's tall tale dramatized by South Pasadena. The Quaker Oats Company presents an exotic oriental garden setting for the enchanting tale, The Nightingale. Sierra Madre pays tribute to a tall tale and to a wise old bird who seems to know the truth. University of Washington's 100-piece marching band and its husky in a giant shoe depicting a tall tale come true. Pat Kelly traveled 3,000 miles from Vermont to the Rose Parade. From the state of Washington, almost too good to be true, stands the mighty figure of the Northwest's legendary Paul Bunyan. A beautiful group of matched black horses. San Francisco's spectacular entry salutes the coming triumph of the California Bay Area, the 1960 Winter Olympics. One of California's great high school bands. Captures the sweepstakes prize for its tribute to international beauty. A breathtaking sight of 100,000 orchids and 6,000 roses that presents the Venus de Milo, surrounded with beauties from several foreign lands. And close behind, trick rider Monty Montana comes. King Midas on a chariot that is turned to golden chrysanthemums under the magic touch of the Minute Maid Corporation. Authentic Spanish costumes are worn by these riders. Underwater with King Neptune, an ancient tale comes true for Buffalo, one of America's new seaport cities on the St. Lawrence Seaway. And while some arrive on horseback, others arrive by special delivery from California State Polytechnic College. Over the hill from Los Angeles comes the sheriff and his posse. Real lawmen, partner. With the winking of an eye, the city of Los Angeles prepares to extend its city limits to the moon. Treasure Tones Paints colorfully portrays winkin', blinkin', and nod off to the limitless frontiers of childhood fantasy. Miss Liberty holds her torch high over Lakewood's tribute to our new states, Alaska and Hawaii. While the youngsters of the Ruskin High School band step high, Al Malika's shrine beautifully depicts tall dreams do come true for those children less fortunate. An honor guard of Shriners escorts their beautiful entry. And a rose is really a rose on Inglewood's charming entry. Like something out of Arabian Nights. Look, Ma, no cavities. From the California Exchange Club's Jonah and the Whale. The inside story, you might say. From Pennsylvania comes the Uniontown Band, leading the way for a splendid touch of the past, captured by the Bakers and Confectioners Union. You know, the Greeks had just about everything. Torrance shows us the true American in his pursuit of happiness, singing the hymnal of his faith. The judge's special prize was awarded Helms Bakery's spectacular Firebird, surrounded by thousands of orchids and other flowers. The chariot race from Ben-Hur lives again on Altadena's Flororama Spectacular. Byrd High Band marches in from Louisiana. Along a dream river comes the President's Trophy winner, with lines of orchids leading Anthony and Cleopatra's Barge of Romance, presented by the Union Oil Company of California. Texas John Slaughter and the Swamp Fox of TV's Walt Disney presents. Education is the true end of the rainbow, say the Pasadena Public Schools. Black and white pintos are the pride of the Saltzer family. And Palm Springs shows us the riches of desert life, desert gold found by all who seek it. The Warwick High School Band. The magic of springtime, when fact and fancy delightfully mingle, and the world is a child again, depicted by C's Candy Shops. Fiesta in living flowers, beautifully attended by the queen of the National Orange Show. These matched palominos lead out as San Antonio shows us the Alamo and some things to remember it by. San Diego's El Cajon Valley Band. East meets West as San Diego pays a floral tribute to her sister city, Yokohama, Japan. And Portland Rose Festival dramatizes the birth of the American flag with 2 new states. The Governor's Trophy winner is a reminder of the tales of the 49ers from Glendale, beautifully depicting California's gold rush. Here come the Marines, the combined United States Marine Corps Band. A moment of beauty and truth as the Lutheran hour depicts the ascension of Christ. Jess Rice with Gene Teague on his West Coast champion. The grand prize winner, Swan Lake, presented by Occidental Life. Riding on the throne, covered by a canopy of roses and mums, is beautiful Pamela Prather. The king of the wild frontier, little Davy Crockett, portrayed with thousands of red roses by the Oddfellows and Rebeccas. The combined Santa Monica Band, 150 strong. The most effective use of roses wins the Queen's Trophy, a dream float, the Little Mermaid. Who is she? Miss Santa Monica, of course. Cleopatra admires the view from her lavish couch in this colorful motif by the American Trucking Association. Southland TV news personality George Putnam heads this group, with the halls of Montezuma close behind, enshrined in the beauty of living flowers by the American Legion Post 13. The traditionally excellent Salvation Army Band heads a composite unit, which presents as its floral entry an Army lass reading to her children a familiar old story. The National Safety Council's colorful floral entry, Walk Wisely, with Ann Blythe. This fine horse unit leads the way for Montebello's Tall-Tailed Squirrel. Which is followed by the glittering Redskin Band. Elegant product of Burbank's imaginative float builders, presenting three-dimensional beauty, floral, musical, and feminine. Salt Lake City's famed Ute Rangers. Market Basket Stores tells us some interesting facts about Treasure Island. These riders are looking for a telephone number. Telephone answering services shows the Dove of Peace trying to improve communications between certain parties at a summit conference. These two characters have a problem of their own as they clear the way for Dr. Pepper's Topper Band. Jack and the Beanstalk, one of the tallest tales of them all, carries off the coveted theme prize for Los Angeles County. Orchids and carnations add to this artistic architectural display of floral loveliness. Another color, golden palominos. The St. Paul Winter Carnival sends an animated reminder of its midwinter festivities with the Snow Princess and her castle. These horses can't help Casey Jones, legendary railroad man from Monterey Park. Well, Miss Casey Jones. Chicago sends its firemen's band. They came along to prevent the city of Chicago from reenacting the incident of Mrs. O'Leary's cow. This float won the coveted national trophy. Miss San Gabriel reigns over an authentic replica of the Royal Barge of Siam. A Rose Parade favorite, the Specks, their mounts, and their sterling silver and gold trappings. The city of Whittier presents its conception of Snowbound, one of the themes of John Greenleaf Whittier. West Virginia's snappy Weir High School band swings along in front of the Tales of Audubon, based on an actual painting by the great artist, so beautifully depicted by Standard Oil Company of California. King Oil surveys his domain and some lovely subjects from Santa Fe Springs. Out of the Blue, pictured by the United States Navy, showing the Polaris missile breaking surface in its flight to space. Downey's fine high school band proudly leads the city's unique float, showing how the past and the present meet as a myth comes true. Today's champions, tomorrow's leaders, as Chevrolet calls attention to its familiar soapbox derby with the help of two of today's screen champions. Florist's Telegraph Delivery Service presents 10,000 white blossoms at the fountain before a Grecian temple, together with flowering trees and Grecian maidens. The Alhambra High School Band. A Tall Tale gains another spectacular dimension as Gulliver is recreated by the city of Alhambra, almost entirely in orchids. The One That Got Away, An old yarn gets a new treatment and provides a laugh. Who got away? The fish or the boys? Old Rip Van Winkle wakes to the thunderous games of the little men as Southgate revives a favorite American tale. The native sons and daughters of the Golden West beautifully portrays, straight from the pages of history and the lore of the Old West, Death Valley days. And in official Tournament of Roses cars, the Boys Club Band, one of the finest in Southern California. Along historic and lovely South Orange Grove, the William P. Wrigley residence is a landmark. Through the generosity of the Wrigley family, this lovely mansion will become the new home of the Tournament of Roses Association. Thus, a gracious gift symbolizes the meaning of the ancient truth. He that doeth good, receiveth good.